What's up with this 5:3 European standard aspect ratio? This is America, damn it. You either chop that shit to 4:3 or expand it to 1:8:5:1. None of this European middle-of-the-road art house, but Rear Window was shot this way business. See, this is what happens when you don't have enough logos to make me angry. I have to find other outlets.
Well, we're off to a great start. He admits the logos aren't long enough, so takes to criticizing the aspect ratio, even though nobody pays attention to that. Except when Zack Snyder did it for some reason.
The great merchant ships with their cargoes of Arcturian solar crystals felt safe and secure.
God damn, this is beautiful animation. I'd be tempted to take a cent off if Disney had committed to a mix of 3D CG and its tried and true traditional 2D animation. But they didn't. They abandoned it because of a couple box office bombs that had nothing to do with the art and went into full 3D CG jellybean heads, which we're now stuck with for life. So here's a sin for that unnecessary course correction from the House of Mouse.
A couple things here. Firstly, this is sinning something you like. Secondly, I sort of agree with this sentiment. It does suck that 2D movies have disappeared in America, and that's solely due to box office. However, that last bit about being stuck with CG movies for life isn't really true. I mean, you made this video in 2023, the same year we got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which isn't like any animated movie I've ever seen, and its predecessor has kickstarted a new animation style with movies like Puss in Boots 2, Mitchells vs. Machines, and TMNT Mutant Mayhem. So I'm not really that bothered by this anymore, because we got masterpieces like these.
And the most feared of all these pirates was the notorious Captain Nathaniel Flint.
Badass. I can't wait to spend an entire movie building him up and establishing him as the villain General Scales wishes he could have been. They couldn't possibly waste a super cool bad guy like this.
Is the complaint that Captain Flint isn't the main villain of this movie? You do know this movie is based on a book, right? The villain is Captain Silver, and despite the sci-fi elements, they have to stick to that story. Then again, books don't matter according to CinemaSins.
I'm gonna get... Oh.
Holy shit! She just absolutely engulfed half that child's belly. If you frame by frame that shit, this is the most horrifying thing to ever be in a Disney movie. Look at that face! She wants to eat that child! Jaw is unhinging like a snake ready to swallow a baby cow! That child is trying to escape the jaw of a big mouth demon monster, and you will not convince me otherwise.
Really doing this, huh? Oh, gotta pad the runtime. Got it.
I know it's real.
You win. It's real.
Lying to your children. Well, in this case, accidentally telling the truth to your children, but you get the idea.
Are you pretending that Santa Claus doesn't exist?
You see, Jim, whether you're actively trespassing within sight of police officers or in the middle of sweet, sweet passion with your college girlfriend, you never, under any circumstance, wahoo! You'll just end up disappointed while wearing a pair of handcuffs.
Even when you're on a roller coaster?
But I really think that he's starting to turn a corner.
Mrs. Hawkins.
Jim!
That's one of the more nifty features of these robot cops. They've got programming that allows them to detect the most ironic moment before entering dramatically through a door.
Nothing to see here, folks. It's just Jeremy narrating what we can see on screen, as if we couldn't see that.
I'm at the end of my rope. Ever since his father left, well, Jim's just never recovered.
Eavesdrop's position.
Shouldn't you be listening to this, since this is important information to know so you better understand who Jim is as a person?
You slid off the roof and were right there at the ship on a dock by the house. Why are you so far away now?
There was obviously a cut there because they didn't want to show Jim running all the way to the port. Why do I have to explain this?
The cyborg. Beware the cyborg.
Thing Joss Whedon said after filming Justice League somehow makes it into the script.
This joke is not as funny as you thought it was.
Wait a second, I've seen that golden ore before. Is this a prequel to that Star Wars show, Ahsoka? Damn you, Dave Filoni. It wasn't enough that I had to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, you wanted me to watch this too? F off with your homework.
Oh look, this map looks like the map from Ahsoka, which is true. But how is that a sin of this movie?
That's the Magellanic Cloud. Woo! The Coral Galaxy.
I guess it's pretty convenient that the guy who just happened to come along with you also just happened to be an expert on astronomy after you just happened to know how to open the secret map.
And now you're just narrating the plot. Cool. Tell me something I don't know.
I really want to go.
Then go, dude. You're an adult. Leave Jim and Sarah your house key, take the map, and scram. You don't need Jim in any capacity. He provides nothing to this expedition.
Nothing? I guess you forgot that Delbert mentioned he couldn't open up the map while Jim could. I feel like you might need a map to find the thing you're looking for.
Movie tries to trick me into sinning that we can see stars behind the shadowed part of the moon, but that's no moon. It's a space station. So instead, I'm sinning that line now makes me think of Moonfall more than Star Wars. Moonfall.
That would be a sin for Moonfall, not Treasure Planet.
Ship-shape it is, sir, but I'm not the captain.
Oh my god, can you believe the authority figure is a woman? I feel so silly with my outdated views on gender and leadership cliche.
It was not that at all. You cut out the scene that showed Mr. Arrow shouting orders at the crew, so Delbert just assumed that he must be the captain.
If you don't mind, I can manage my own plugging.
Of all the movies intent on setting me up for obvious college girlfriend jokes, I didn't have Treasure Planet leading the list.
We're only 5 minutes into this 19-minute video, and I'm already sick of pointing out all the nonsense.
I said something rather good this morning before coffee.
That may be the most sinful thing in the whole movie. Saying something good before you've had your coffee. Oh, that's just silly.
While I agree with you, I still have to send this laugh.
Long John will now show off his variety of cooking contraptions. And while I appreciate the imagination, for the love of nanobots, I'm just not buying that there is enough room in this hollow-looking arm for all those attachments and the 2 sets of mechanical hands he approached Jim with earlier.
Why does it matter if you don't buy it? This is an animated movie where ships from the 1800s can now travel through space, for Pete's sake. This is the least stupid thing.
We best be keeping a sharp eye on this one. Eh, Marv?
Disney can't do without their cute little sidekicks, can they? Not just for a bit of, aw, shucks adorableness, but so that their characters have someone to exposition to without having to just talk to themselves.
Hey look, CinemaSins is aware that repeating things is annoying. Well, that isn't hypocritical at all.
Even a couple decades ago, sci-fi wanted space whales. Why? Probably because they thought space giraffes would look ridiculous.
Because space whales look so freaking cool?
You can keep that kind of flim-flammery for your spaceport floozies, Silver.
Well done, Morph. You're already making me like you more than your shape-shifting counterpart in the 90s X-Men series. I'd take a cent off, but you've just reminded me of more from the 90s X-Men series.
More sending something you like.
Say hello to Mr. Mop and Mrs. Bucket.
Also anthropomorphizing and gendering Mr. Mop and Mrs. Bucket so that every time he dips Mr. Mop into Mrs. Bucket, he has to wonder if he's enabling an affair. He'll be looking over his shoulder for a very angry Mrs. Mop and Mr. Bucket for the rest of his life.
Alright, I'm done with these nonsense. Just add 50 and let's skip the rest.
Your father not the teaching sort.
No. He was more the taking off and never coming back sort.
Damn it, Disney. Just let a kid have both parents around for once. I'm not asking for stereotypical 2-parent families every time, but would it kill you to try one once? Hell, give the kid 3 or 4 parents for all I care. Just quit using a missing parent as some sort of pathos crutch.
You know Sleeping Beauty didn't do that. Or Mulan. Or Moana. Or Tangled. Or Zootopia. Or 101 Dalmatians. There are more Disney movies out there that didn't have this plot point, you know? They have tried it at least once.
The movie is now in the midst of a boat work/father figure montage set to a John Resnick song that is so Goo Goo Dolls and so era-specific that future archaeologists who dig up this movie will use this scene to accurately date it within 2 weeks of its release.
Sending this montage.
Engaging in space shenanigans, but not having a towel nearby to fully clean up the space semen.
Gross.
So, how'd that happen anyway?
Assuming someone would love to tell you about their injury if only you would ask.
I'd agree with that if these two had just met, but this is after bonding for quite a while now. This question was bound to come up at some point.
The star pollution. It's gone supernova!
Because the movie needed a second act set piece to get it to 90 minutes without boring everyone to death.
I'm guessing you're suggesting this action sequence is pointless? Because that ain't true. This sequence shows Jim and Silver bonding more, with Jim even saving Silver, and the death of Mr. Arrow.
Deus Black Holina.
What? The black hole saved them? Even though they start getting sucked into it right after? This is a Deus Ex Machina? Is anyone else seeing how stupid this sin is?
Ride that last McGiller out of here!
They survived this works, take your pick. I honestly have no idea what's going on here anymore.
You do know this isn't a real reality, right? Right?
Well, I must congratulate you, Mr. Silver. It seems your cabin boy did a bang-up job with those lifelines.
Premature and incredibly specific celebration.
How is it premature? They just got out of danger, and Amelia doesn't know that Mr. Arrow is dead yet. Does this man know what words mean?
conveniently timed and somehow unobserved snooper is somehow unobserved and conveniently timed.
Why did you add the word unobserved there? Are you suggesting someone should have noticed him? How and why?
What was it now? Oh, you got the makings of greatness in you.
Wow, it's the rare characters conveniently overheard repeating the very thing they conveniently overheard in the previous scene to the very person they conveniently overheard it from. You have to appreciate the absolute gall to pack in all that convenient voyeurism with such efficiency. Just amazing work by all.
Can you stop narrating what's going on in the movie? It adds nothing.
Pirates on my ship, I'll see they all hang.
No, you won't. Disney won't work up the guts to show hanging pirates until the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Did you forget about this scene in the first Pirates movie?
And by then, I was too sick of the franchise to care.
Oh boy, do I have some words about that take.
Captain! Laser ball at 12 o'clock!
How the f does a laser ball even work? Lasers are light. They're meant to be a ray. What do you possibly gain by putting them in ball form?
This is essentially this universe's own version of a cannonball. Remember, the spaceships in this movie look a lot like boats from the 1800s, and you surprisingly never questioned that. Why can't you suspend your disbelief for this?
Morph waits until the last possible second to reveal they were imitating the map, just in case you didn't already know what an asshole they were.
What other time could he have revealed that? While they were crash landing?
Look, if you're gonna come along, you're gonna have to stop talking.
Huzzah! Oh, this is fantastic!
Immediately breaking the one condition of being able to tag along. This is like when my younger cousin begged to come along with me and my friends as we blew up firecrackers.
Yeah, I don't care about the rest of this. The movie itself addresses this.
Huzzah! Oh, this is fantastic! Me and my best buddy out looking for a...
Being quiet. And you have to stop touching me. Touching and talking. That's my two big no-nos.
You get me that map, and an even portion of the treasure is yours.
This is a dumb negotiation. What is he offering here? To take half the treasure? He's brought exactly 0 parlay to this parlay with which to parlay.
Asks what Silver is offering, even though he literally just showed a clip of Silver offering Jim half the treasure.
But you gotta help her.
Dang it, Jim, I'm an astronomer, not a doctor.
Making your Star Wars references too obvious.
Oh, mixing up Star Wars and Star Trek. That's hilarious, right?
But you're docked above a planet with gravity, and there are even clouds above you, meaning you are clearly in the planet's atmosphere. Why isn't the planet's gravity in effect?
You realize this isn't Earth, right? Meaning it's possible this planet's gravity is not as strong as Earth's.
Did we ever get a reason Jim can no-look open this secret map that everyone else is befuddled by? Just magical chosen one bullshit? Yeah, I thought so.
But if you know that Jim is the only one who can open it, then why didn't you realize that when you asked why Delbert wanted to go on the voyage with him?
He used his portal to roam the universe, stealing treasure.
That's such a poor use of portals. They're best used for getting test subjects to engage in several deadly science experiments for your sadistic amusement.
We are going to need a bigger boat!
How dare you, movie? How f***ing dare you?
I just want you to notice that Jeremy referenced Portal and is now upset that the movie referenced Jaws. You don't have to be that obvious that you're being hypocritical, dude.
Flint wanted to make sure that nobody could ever steal his treasure, so he rigged this whole planet to blow higher than a Calypsian kite!
And his booby trap was a simple laser that was both easy to spot and even easier to step over. Do I have that right? The only way someone doesn't steal this treasure is complete incompetence.
Says that it's easy to spot, even though no one noticed it.
With abnormally thin wrists.
Also, you're just now noticing you can slip out of the ropes?
You know that's literally the joke, right?
Or is it that your head is too teeny tiny for your big fat body?
Body shaming. Face it, no one in this movie is a good guy.
Are you not aware that he's getting his attention so they can escape?
Oh, he done it. If by done it, you mean opened up a portal to his home where a planet's worth of flaming debris could come crashing through and kill everyone.
Wouldn't the portal have closed immediately when the planet exploded?
Look at you, glowing like
Dang, Skip!
Skip this heartwarming goodbye between two friends? Wow, you're heartless.
As for your dear mother, to rebuild that inn of hers.
What is that? A few coins and precious stones? I have my doubts that's enough to finance the construction of an entirely new business. That's not even enough to pay a month's rent in Nashville.
And it's the same treasure from Captain Flint's trove. I feel like that alone will be extremely valuable.
Ah, yes, turning the badass captain who never once hinted at wanting children through this entire movie into a baby factory. That's good writing right there.
So by that logic, Princess Leia is not a well-written character? That's definitely sinful.